Welcome, everyone, Security National in particular, to the sixth episode of One Door at a Time. I'm Jason Richardson, your host, and I am the Vice President of Security National's Home Service family of companies. And today, my guest is Mr. Glen Ripkoski. Glen, how are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing pretty good, sir.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. Now, Glenn is no stranger to Security National. He's been with us for several years now, and I think last year you were finally able to beat out the competition and become the agent of the year with the company. Is that right?
Yes, sir, it is. It was. It was I believe that's my fourth year. I'm going on my fifth year with Security National.
Yeah, you're finally able to beat out that competition. One of the former agents of the year, she was giving him quite the hard time. He finally battled it out last year,
Well,
took home the trophy.
she always beat me on Founders Month. And last let's see, 5 year. Well, that was my fifth time. No, my fourth time because I got four trophies back here in the back. You probably can see them right there.
Mhm.
There's four of them for Founders Day, and I always came in second place. But I managed to become the agent of the year, so which I'm very proud of.
Well, I think I've told you this story before, but the year before I took this position, I too was the second place person, which unnerved me to no end. But I was also the agent of the year that year. So the other person, I still collect people that I wrote back in 2013. It's hard. It sounds like a long time away. It really wasn't, but. People I wrote back in 2013, I still collect today, whereas this person's he's not even in the business anymore. So, and for those of you who don't know what we're referring to, Founders Month is the largest production month in and around October of every year that we have at Security National Life, and we do a lot of bonuses and incentives during that time, and so that's what we were referring to with that. So Glenn, let's back up a step and let's talk about you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the insurance business.
Well, I tried to do a little summary of my life. I was actually, although I'm from Kentucky right now, I was actually born and raised in southeast Texas, a little town called Navasota, which is about 20 miles south of Bryan College Station, Texas A&M area.
Hmm.
And I played football in high school. And I played a little bit at Texas A&M, but didn't work out. I wasn't as good as I was in high school, and I joined the Marine Corps. I spent 30 years in the Marine Corps, and I retired from the Marine Corps, and then I became a teacher. And the funny thing about becoming a teacher is because I put my resume after I retired, and I could have worked at Texas A&M, go back home, University of South Carolina, but I had the superintendent up here in the high school at Betsy Lane, Kentucky, asked me to come down, and he sounded like Paul Bryant from Alabama, Sergeant Major. We really need it. He gave me a good offer, and I spent 10 years teaching down here at Betsy Lane. I became a principal at Wesley Christian High School. As a matter of fact, I set up the high school for them. And then after 4 years of that, and dealing with teachers, I decided to go into the insurance business. I spent 5 years with Transamerica as a W-2, and then I came aboard with SNL 4 years ago. I'm on my fifth year with SNL, and currently that's where I stand at, sir.
And of course, Glenn, for those of you who don't know him, Glenn has been, and he, of course, mentioned some of this a while ago when we were talking about Founders Month. But Glenn's just been a successful agent, word get go, at least with us. And so, you know, tell me a little bit about your daily routine that leads to your success, because I think that I don't believe in luck. Obviously, I believe in divine providence, so I don't want to slight the maker for any blessings he might show your way. But I believe that a lot of what your success is derived from is just your scheduling and your planning that probably goes a little bit above and beyond what I do. because I'm still on debit myself, but then what the average agent does. So tell us a little bit about how you plan out your week and how you're more methodical than maybe the average agent.
Well, first of all, I go a little bit past that because I'm not saying I'm different from most people, but my upbringing and especially with my experiences through life, I have a good work ethic. And of course, it's planning, but a lot of it, and I don't have no magical formula. Everybody's like, "How you do that?" Or "Why are you so good at that?" Well, uh, I think a little bit different than more people. Number one is a lot of people want to do things, right? And there's a difference between a want and need.
Mm-hmm.
And like my my supervisor Jerry Sturgill, me and him talks a lot, and I says, "Well, my goals, I don't have goals. I have missions. The mission is something you need to happen, not something you want to happen. Like a lot of people want to have this goal, but do you need that goal? Yeah, and then that's the way I approach each day. And I do plan my weeks ahead of time. Like I know exactly what I'm going to do next week, and I already got this week already planned and know exactly where I'm going. It saves a lot of time, and of course, I make a daily schedule. Um, uh, Especially these days, the way the gas prices are, and the overhead of taking care of your car and everything, you want to
Mm-hmm.
work smarter than harder. I make sure that I call ahead of time to make sure the my appointment is there. And another thing that my mindset is the positive mental attitude. You you got to have that. If you have a, I'll tell you what, I can have all the planning in the world, write it on paper, which I do. I got it. I have a schedule that I make out every day. That I know exactly where I'm going, and I call ahead of time to make sure I don't waste my time
Mm-hmm.
because you can sit there and spin your wheels if you don't have no plan. And of course, you know that, and as well as most agents know that. Matter of fact, I see other agents sit in the parking lot and just looking at their book and wondering what they do. But you should have a plan before you go out there. Uh, the positive mental attitude, because if you got a negative one, it doesn't matter how well I plan, okay, is that you'll have a bad day because your personality.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I love about Security National life insurance, especially in my area, is because I don't classify myself as a salesman. Everybody thinks a life insurance agent is a salesman. I'm not a shoe salesman. What I do, the products fulfill their need. The need, everyone needs insurance,
Mm-hmm.
and the way I approach it is what they need, and the insurance sells itself. And that's one of the greatest thing. I get away from hey, I'm gonna sell this and sell that. I'll just say, hey, this is what you need. And then, especially with our products that we have with Security National, it fulfills that need. And I'm very successful with it because that's the way I approach it, sir.
Yeah, so one of the things that I have said on this podcast and in person with other people is that the beauty of the home service business is that one-on-one interaction for the person that's maybe a little less prone, a little bit loosey goosey in the way they do things. They're not as structured because the home service business, if you don't go out there and see Miss Jones, what happens? Miss Jones's money, it might get spent, right? So it forces people to get out that. But having said that, I've still seen people with customers to see, things to do, and like you said, they sit there in the parking lot and look at their book and go, well, who do I want to go see? Because they're really not focusing on what they're doing and why they're doing it. You mentioned selling the need as opposed and fulfilling that need as opposed to selling a product. And I know that might sound cliche to somebody who might be listening, but it's in reality the truth. Because I have, and I'm sure Glenn, you have as well. been in communities and around people that didn't have insurance when they passed away or didn't have enough insurance when they passed away. The proverbial hat was passed around. Now it makes it easier for people because you can put it on Kickstarter and you can, you know, without having to be embarrassed in front of everybody, you can put it on a digital platform and hope everybody sends you the money. But the reality is nobody wants to really do that. So what we're trying to do is help fulfill those needs. And when you're driven like that, you don't wonder what you have to do. I had a customer years ago. She since passed away. Her name was Mary, in a little old town called Crystal Springs, Mississippi. And Mary ended up hooking up with the guy, and he what became a customer of mine too. So that was kind of a thing. Hey, Earl, this is my insurance man. You need to get insurance with him. So Earl bought insurance with me. So Earl, strangely enough, he had both his arms cut off. And so his first joke to me was, he said, I told Mary I'd never lay a hand on her. That was his joke, not mine. Yeah. He, so anyway, so Earl was a car salesman. So Earl would go and sell cars and whatever. And they bought a house together. And at that time, with the company that I was with, I could sell a decreasing term policy. And again, for those people who might not be familiar with that policy, usually they refer to that as mortgage insurance. That's essentially what a mortgage policy is. It's a decreasing term policy, keeps up with your mortgage. And so it goes down, keeps the premiums level by making the benefit amount go down over the course of time. So I could sell one of those policies. And so Mary calls me up and she says, Hey, Earl and I bought a house and I really want to get enough insurance to cover if he was to die, and so that I could pay off the house. Cause all she had like a social security check. She, sold knickknack paddywhacks at garage sales and stuff, but she really didn't have a job outside of that. And so I was running a couple of open books at the time. And so I wasn't her immediate agent. I was just a sales manager at that time. And you've always got things come up, right? Always got things come up. Well, I'll sell her later. I'll sell her later. I'll sell her later. Well, a couple months pass. I said, and I'm needing a sale. So I go and I call Mary up and I said, Mary, I really need to get with Earl on his insurance. And she said, Yeah, Earl's in the hospital. And I said, Oh, okay. So he had an angina, I think is what it's called. It's a heart
Mhm,
condition. The company that I was with could write that policy as long as he didn't smoke. The problem was Earl smoked.
mhm,
So I couldn't write it. And, in the immediate sense, I was, of course, bummed out because I couldn't get the sale that I knew I could get. And I should have got it a few months prior. But I was like, yeah, it's not the end of the world. Well, fast forward a few years and Earl gets cancer. And it did a number on him, and it actually, that's what he passed away from. And so Mary had to borrow money from her life insurance policy to continue to pay the mortgage. Um, you know what that does to somebody that some people would say, well, that was her fault, right? That was, personal
mhm,
responsibility, which I'm all a proponent of, so don't get me wrong. But when she trusted her insurance agent to be out there to meet that need and he didn't, then she ended up having to borrow against her life insurance policy for a result of that. So, um, but with that focus, having told that story many a time, and this year is a 23rd year that I've been doing this. It is more than just a sales deal. We are meeting needs. I've delivered many a death claim check, and it's important what we do because there's less people doing it now than ever before, and yet there are more people that have a need for what we do, and so that's what drives. And going back to what you were saying, keeping that and what we were talking about when we led into this was being focused enough on the task at hand, the mission at hand, to
mhm,
say, hey, I've got to put the blinders on because there's plenty of things that come up in life and people call you up and,
Yeah.
you know, they have all these things.
Last minute things. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
The surprises is comes out of nowhere, so.
Yeah, and things are uh, important, but they're not urgent. And so, you can deal with them later, but people think that you need to deal with them right now. So they try to distract you. But if your task is at hand, hey, these are the things that I've got to do today, um, then that's what you do, and you're able to serve a lot of people and help a lot of people as a result of that. Um, and so
There's
that's
one
been
more thing I'd
successful.
like to add to that.
Mhm.
Of course, you have a good plan. Of course, you should stay in a good mental state of mind, when you're going out there and fulfill the need. It's not all about getting in, getting the insurance. It's also taking care of the people that you already written. And that is very important. And like I said, during my plan, I will see, also new prospects, but also see the people that I have written, that I've written with Security National 4 years ago. And I will see them and just double check on them to make sure that everything's okay. And you'd be surprised how that would generate referrals.
Mhm.
Uh, and also there's a lot of things that change with these people. Some of them get married, some don't get married, some drop the wants to change the beneficiary. And if they see that sincerity, and what it is nothing more than you're taking. Like when I talk to the customer and when I get them their insurance and I go over the policy with them, I tell them I'm there from the beginning to the end, unless something happens to me. And I'm pretty sure there's somebody will replace me, if something happens to me. And I'm saying I'm there for the end. I always make sure they got the number. And even if I don't see them, I give them a call and ask them how they're doing. And really, I have a relationship with my clients. It's a relationship. Some of them are really good friends now. And unfortunately, sometimes your friends will pass away, but that's what the purpose of the business is to take care of their needs. And you find if you, I know a lot of other companies call it a sale after, this, taking care of after the sale, but it's just nothing more than fulfilling what you have given them in order to them to be, to have what they need. And a lot of that is just follow up. And I incorporate that in my plan today. Like today I got 5 people I need to see, but I got 3 people that are old clients that I have to see and making sure their beneficiary is okay, making sure they're okay, or just talk to them in general. Say, hey, how's things going? And believe it or not, people appreciate that. They have more respect for you. Uh, I've been doing this for a while, and I find that people likes that. I don't know. They like when other people cares for them.
Mhm.
And when you provide that care, especially with our products that we have, I already had death claims, and they see that how the company fulfills their what it is actually a contract is a promise. This is how much you'll have in order to when you when they see that your reputation grows,
Mhm.
and I just find by doing that, my reputation is pretty good, and I'm proud of that. And I don't want nothing to stain that reputation. And that makes you work harder. Uh, you could ask my wife, I have telephone calls at midnight, at midnight with somebody calling, and I'll stop what I'm doing, or I wake up and I try to, you know, listen to them and try to take care of whatever their need is at that time. And if you follow through and you have a good plan, you're going to be successful. It's
Yeah, it's something unique to our business. You were talking about the service aspect of it, and of course, we refer to ourselves as home service. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're home collect. I have a lot of people that pay me via an electronic means, whether it's bank draft or they cash at me the money, that type of thing.
Mhm.
So I'm not collecting 100% of my people in person face to face. But having said that, and we found this especially true during COVID, right? That we want to make sure that we want to provide service no matter the situation that's going on. And that's something unique to our business. Whereas, like on the ordinary side of the business, they tell you make the sale, move on to the next one, right?
Yeah.
Put it on bank
And that's
draft,
true.
and that's all you'll ever have to do. Well, maybe that works and maybe it doesn't. But I do know that if it, let's assume it works 100% of the time, the people never come off bank draft, they never change their bank account and forget to call you and all that other kind of stuff. Let's assume that works. What you are forfeiting, however, is a rich source of referrals because instead of having to uh, pay some company to give you a lead that might have been used three, four, five times, you've got somebody who already is familiar with you, already familiar with the company, and that you can just ask, hey, who do you know that I can go talk to about their life insurance? And so we're forfeiting that. So it's kind of strange that people are so willing to forfeit their ace in their up their sleeve, their ace in the hole, so to speak, to for efficiency's sake.
Mm. And I agree with you 100% because I'll be quite honest, about 80% of the people I do see as far as prospecting is referrals. And and the clients, they'd be calling me and they got hold of them. Of course, they got my number and everything, and I advertise and the whole 9 yards. But they got the number and they call me and say, so and so and so so. I mean, I get phone calls, which is like gravy on a biscuit. I get a phone call and say, hey, I need some insurance, and uh, Joe uh, recommended you, and I'd like to see if you come out and give me a quote and see what you can do for me, And I'll put it in my plan, but it's so important that you take care of these people. And of course, in our line of business, you have persistency that you have to worry about. I think I'm around 93% persistent. A lot of people can't believe, well, why you're 93% your first year persistence? Well, it's because I take care of my people, and
Mhm.
I let them know. And I have turned down, you can ask Jerry. Jerry's my manager, Jerry Sturgill. You got to ask Jerry. I've turned down people because I know they wouldn't pay, or there would be it'd be a bad mix, or they tell me something one thing, or they did not tell the complete truth about something. I won't write them. Uh, Simple reason why there's just like in life, there's good and bad people out there, and I try to keep everything together by like that. And a lot of people think I'm crazy for not writing them, but I don't write those type of people. I write good people that needs our products, and the key is taking care of them and have a good plan and a positive attitude.
Well,
And
there's always a TV commercial away from them getting life insurance with another company, right?
oh yeah,
It's
you see it
amazing to
all the
me.
time.
I'm in a customer's house and there's a life insurance ad come on the TV. I'm like, come on, really?
Yeah,
Uh,
but I like this one here that says
mhm,
as low as $9.95.
mhm.
But when I see that and I'm with a client, and believe me, they have it on TV and it's right there. I say, I want you to pay close attention to the small writing.
Right.
It's $9.95 per unit. You know what? And that says per unit. You know what one unit's cost? And they go, no, that's $1,000. Now, $9.95 for that $1,000 is what you get. That's what your face value. Now, if you want 10,000, you know which commercial I'm talking about, you're gonna have to pay close to $100. And then I just whip out our stuff and say, now look here, you get the same product for $48 and so many cents. I'm of course I don't have the example here, but I have been in that situation so many times. And our products are so good that I really like our products, especially in the area that I'm in. I'm in a rural area. I mean, the biggest city that we have is an hour and a half away is Lexington, and it just fulfills the needs of the people that I have in this area, and it's not necessarily because I can, I got the little small city, uh, Pikeville, and of course we got Prestonburg, and there's a lot of people in the city, but something I don't know why I learned this a long time ago is take a little compass on the map and draw a 100-mile radius where you live, and then according to statistics in cities, you'll say 60% of the people has insurance and 40% doesn't. In rural areas, it's exactly the opposite. Maybe 40% have the insurance, so 60 don't. So if you have 100,000 people in your area, you have to figure out your population. Well, you figure half of them, that's like 500,000 that don't have insurance. And this is my mindset. I always have a mindset, and I always tell Jerry this. I said, "Well, I only rolled a thousand applications since I've been working with Security National." I says, "I still got over 499,000 to write, and it's nothing more than that kind of mindset going into the business, and it's been very successful for me. Very
Well,
successful.
and that the ad, going back to the ad on the TV, there is no way that that company, as nice and great as a company as it might be, and there's plenty of them out there that advertise on television, that they could provide the service that you and I and other home service agents can provide when we're one on one. And that's what I've told people before. If you've got a problem, if you get behind because you get COVID and you can't go to work for a couple weeks, or you end up breaking your leg or anything like that, that company out there is not going to work with you.
Yeah.
So I'm the one, and of course, the longer you've been doing this, you can tell them that. It's like, well, yeah, but how long have you known the fly by night agent that just got signed up in a pyramid scheme? So I'm not going to call the name of a company.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what company have you known, like those agents? How long have they been in the business? And so, being able to provide that service out there is extremely important, and also very fulfilling, not just from a monetary standpoint, but knowing that you've done a good thing, and then that those people have been helped out. I too have always liked working in the rural areas, and because in the rural areas, and you were talking about those statistics, um, the houses are further apart, and so if people are thinking, well, hey, I want to see the most people in a densely populated area, well, yeah, just go to the city. But what I found is the people in that are rural areas pay better generally, and that word of mouth travels faster. So,
Yes.
whereas in the city, like I've had people that'll up and leave, and like I go to the house the next month to collect, they're not there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I ask around, call around, I figure out where they're at, right? Because everybody knows what's going on in a small rural area. Whereas if you're in a big town, I could say, well, hey, do you know where your neighbor moved? I didn't even know him.
And they could be a couple of blocks over.
Yeah, as far
Yeah,
as they
we
know.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are some benefits to work in the rural areas. And so generally at some point during these podcasts, I try to have a sales tip. And of course, certainly we've given a few nuggets already, but do you have a sales tip that you can leave with us today?
Well, I think we covered a lot of it. Number one is have a plan. You know, work smarter, don't work harder, and get out of the mindset that you want to be successful. You need to be successful, and set it as a need for you. We fulfill needs. But what about your needs? What do I need to do? And then go about it. How am I going to do this? And if you plan it very well, have your schedule every day. Uh, like I always tell Jerry, I says, I need to write one application per day in order for me to be successful. And that's what I try to fulfill. And of course, there's days that I don't, but there's days that I make up for it. And if you have that mindset, A lot of it is mindset, and of course, work ethic. You can't be lazy in this job. And another sales tip: take care of the people that you write, because they are your business.
Mhm.
They allowed you in their home to help them to fulfill that need, and they rely on you. Don't scrub them off. Don't just write it and forget about it, like you said, like some other company. I'm not mentioning no names, by the way. And as long as you write business, you'll find that those referrals and your reputation will be so good that you, after you've done it for a period of years, like I have done, you'll be successful at it. You'll be surprised. Like I said, you'll have that gravy on the biscuit when they call you or they text you and say, "Hey, I need insurance." And of course, that's even better when somebody calls you. That's like, God, I don't have to, work that hard. And like I said, work smarter, not harder. So that's my tip: work smarter. Plan out your day. Don't be running around all over the countryside looking for things. And if you don't have people to see, go see your old customers. I've done that. I say I don't have no appointments today. And there's one more tip I like to get. When you write the application, you get the policy approved and they mail it to you, which Security National does. Take that policy, don't leave it in the car. And I've known some agents who will leave it in the car, and the customer don't get it for 3 months. You go see that customer. That's all part of the plan. Like right now, I got 5 in my briefcase that I need to go see this week because I wrote it 2 weeks ago. And you go see him, you sit down with that policy and go over the policy, making sure his name is correct, his birthday is correct, making sure his beneficiary is correct. And that goes a long way. It shows that you care, and it shows that you not only got them their insurance, you're fulfilling them with their need, and they know they can trust you. And that what you're doing is building that trust between you and your clients. And that is my tip of the day, sir.
Tip or tips, plural. But
Yeah, it's true.
Warren Buffett, who's one of the richest men in the world, and of course he has some quirky ways about him, but generally, he's a wealthy guy, so he obviously knows what he's doing in certain aspects of his life. And one of the things that he talks about is building a moat around your business. And so, what is that thing that separates you from the competition that's always going to be trying to take, your little piece of the pie? And so he says that he doesn't invest in sexy companies. So what I and so I've known agents that have worried about writing, the multi-million dollar whole life plans, the universal life plans, and they would come in with their three-piece suits on and stuff like that, and then they would look down on me, a little home service agent that was going out there and collecting a $50 premium, right? And so, but the fact is that a lot of them aren't even in the business anymore, and I still am. The difference is that moat, that thing that separates me from the competition. There are other companies out there that sell a cheaper plan. Uh, but there's nobody out there that's going to offer better service than me. There's nobody else out there that's going to pay their claims like me. You see what I'm saying? So again,
Yes.
I'm differentiating myself from the competition and standing apart from the competition. I can't remember the last time that I've had a customer get insurance with a competitor and drop mine as a result that a premium or whatever the case may be. So and that's because of that moat. And so my encouragement to anyone who's listening that's in the insurance business is to build a moat around your business. Separate yourself from the competition because there's a lot of it out there. Television ads, internet ads, on the job, various things. So if you're in the insurance business, separate yourself from the competition because the people aren't buying the insurance from the company, they're buying it from the individual. So you are the insurance company. And so that means be on time, do what you're going to say you're going to do, show a sincere desire to meet the customer's interest and best wishes. And yeah, you're going to be successful for sure. Um, so, Glenn, I do appreciate you agreeing to meet with me today and share some of your story with us. Any parting thoughts as we kind of wrap this thing up and
Yeah,
land this plane?
well, I just hope the weather gets better down there in the Mississippi, and praying that the good Lord continues to bless us. And I really enjoyed this interview. It's a unique experience of talking to the vice president of the company there. And I really enjoyed that. So I'll be telling Jerry all about it. And of course, Jerry, he will be calling me. He's already texted me. He says, "Are you in the meeting?" So I have to text him back. So I really enjoyed it, sir. Thank you so much.
And for those of you that are out there listening, if you're experiencing the insurance business and you like doing the insurance business, there's a lot of change going on in these uncertain economic times as inflationary prices uh, face companies, as interest rates go up, et cetera, et cetera. And so, my question to you is your company backing you like they need to? Do you like what you do, but you don't necessarily like who you're doing it with anymore? And if the answer to that is, I don't, I like what I'm doing, but I don't like who I'm doing it with no more. No, I don't feel like the company's got my back. Then I would say, and obviously I'm not an unbiased third party, but I would say to try Security National. You can reach out to us at snlhomeservice.com and go through there and express your interest to us, and we will have a local manager reach out to you regarding the opportunities that may be available for you in your area. So Security National is a financially sound corporation, and the life insurance side of it is the main part of it. But so if you don't have a home, we encourage you, and because we're always looking for people that are wanting to be successful, and Security National's got your back in helping you. We can't make it for you, but we can certainly offer you the tools and the supplies and the help that you need to get there. So and for those of you who are already Security National agents, like Glenn, like myself, then I thank you for our continued success because we obviously can't do it without you. We can come up with Founders Month and other bonuses that we do all the time. We can have the most wonderful of plans, but if we don't have agents that are out there each and every week sharing the message, telling the story, then it's all for naught. So do appreciate you that are already appointed with us. And so, thank you, Glenn, again for agreeing to do this, and to all the listeners out there. Until next time, happy selling.